Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Commission Breath. Brandon Love and Tom Moffat here back in the studio. We're back at it. Tom's just getting back from a little vacation. It's good to catch up. He looks a little bit more tanned for a ginger. It's always hard to tell, but he looks alive, which is good.
I swear, every year I'm getting less and less ginger because the tan just keeps coming out. We'll see what happens next year. But thanks, man. Appreciate the notice on it. I feel well rested, kind of. I mean, any vacation with kids is never an actual true vacation, but just getting outside of like this crummy weather was really nice. And I had a bit of time to do some reflection and kind of revamp, like looking at the different businesses and all that. So I'm feeling kind of fresh and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it can be nice to get that like zoned out time and just have the bird's eye view of things. And then you're just like looking at me in the trenches going through being like, Tom, this is blowing up while you're away. And you're like, oh, no, it's fine. It's all going to
For
work
the
out.
most part, we were pretty good, man. Like it was really the last couple of days where we had a few things blow up, but
On the mortgage side, we have Kyle underwriting away. That side was pretty peaceful. Brokerage side, there's always a few things that come up just because there's changing landscape always, right? It's something that we're learning. It's not like we've done it for years and years. So things come up where we have to adapt and put out more fires or learn to jump into scenarios we're not familiar with. So that's that though. No bad things, just new things. So all good.
everything's solvable.
Exactly. So today we are going to talk on a concept that I picked up from watching a YouTube fitness video, and it's called the push and the proof. And just kind of side context, I'm trying to get in better shape and achieve some fitness goals. So I've been crushing a few of these YouTube videos, and a lot of it is very like repetitive or like, gimmicky kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm getting kind of sick of this. Maybe some people feel about that, about the mortgage podcast too. But then there's once in a while, there's like a gem within that. And I'm like, oh, that's really good from like a fitness perspective. But then quite often I find there's a lot of crossover with the mortgage industry as well, or just business in general. So this one in particular was this idea of picking something to push on. So be it like 2 to 3 things for your body, but translate that to 2 to 3 things for your business and be very, very granular about what those 2 to 3 things are. And then the flip side of that is to have the proof. So for each of those things, what is the proof that you're showing that you're actually achieving it? So going back to a fitness context, because it makes it really easy to explain, your push would be like doing 15,000 steps, working out 3 times a week. Your proof would be your weight on the scale plus progress photos taken at the beginning of every week. So that's something very clear, that the task you have to do and the way to measure it. In your mortgage business, it might be something like, okay, your push is to post content on social media for every business day of the week, or do your 5 asks per day. And your proof would be the number of leads or your conversion rate from lead to application, different things like that. So pick sort of what your proof is going to be, but make sure it's tied very closely so that you can see that for this 30, 60, 90, 120 day, whatever the time horizon you set for this experiment, you can see the results being measured that way.
I think the key metrics from just like a strictly mortgage business perspective would be like track the leads you have coming in. So the amount of leads, app to funded ratio is great as well, app to funded percentage. And we don't do this, but I think it would be beneficial to at some point track it as lead to close is the last one that I just mentioned. And the next one is from discovery call to application. Like how many people are actually starting the application from that initial discovery call or lead in?
Yeah, right now our primary metric is lead to close. That's really what we operate off of, and we try to have a healthy number there. As things progress and more people and more moving parts are brought into the business, it's something that will probably get more granular on what we're tracking, but it's really important that your tracking activity doesn't become a whole other thing that you account as being progress, because it should be measuring progress. So many people spend time building out all these fancy like, oh, I did X percentage here. I'm like, you probably spent like 2 hours putting together this report about your business. If you just put 2 hours into prospecting, you'd have a better business. And that's actually the thing you should be solving for.
That's why we don't track it. Like that's why we don't do the lead in to application started, because it's just, we would rather just focus on getting the business in. And like, that's a nice to have. It's not like a necessary thing for us right now.
Exactly. And all of these reports and stuff like that, it's only useful if you implement on what the report is telling you. And for a lot of the reports, the number you don't like would be way better solved by not spending time making the report and spending time on the action you need to do.
Yeah, and lead in to app started, I think that's more important for someone that's maybe doing like online leads or more of like a social media presence, because the leads are going to be less quality. I don't know about you, but like with referral partners and past clients, it's usually pretty sticky that the person's going to start an application if you've hopped on a call with them. So that's why like you and I haven't personally like even like dabbled with that one, but I can see with just the cash damming alone on the social side, that is a metric I would like to track is, hey, how many people have actually started filling out the data capture sheet? Because that's where you're going to get a lot of the fall off if a lot of the leads are from social media.
Yeah, for sure. You got to make those like first couple hoops and then measure that. I also think your 1 to 2 things you might be working on. One thing that would be really great to work on for a ton of people is get really good at your discovery call. If you get really good at your discovery call, the metric you might want to now track is, what is my discovery call to completed application? Because you'll be able to watch if your discovery call is getting better time after time, that percentage should and will increase. So different things, if you say, hey, I think I have a weakness in this part of my business, in this part of my client journey, focus on that, pick something measurable, do it until you feel like that's no longer a weakness. Maybe it's become a strength now. Maybe it's good enough, and move to the next part of the thing. So for us, for a long time, it was just like following up with our database and with clients we'd already funded mortgage for. We were great until they would fund, or if they didn't fund, and they would just kind of sit in our orbit. And now over the past couple of months, we've done a ton of follow-up systems and stuff that's really helping there. And we can track this with our growing email list, our engagement on different things like VIP Club. We can see that that's improving. Now you're more into the social media cash damming space. Now you have to create filters because you were getting a ton of book calls with people who weren't qualified. They were time wasters. So now you have to identify that problem, pick 2 to 3 things, pick the new metric you're going to look at, and tweak the process accordingly that way.
Yeah, you got to pick the one problem that is the biggest pain point in your business. And for me, it's the calendar filling up, which is a good problem to have. But if it's filling up and I have no times for qualified clients to book calls with, I want to weed out the ones that aren't qualified or that are just kind of like kicking tires. So I won't go too deep on it, but what I'm going to be building out is some sort of type form to ask more upfront questions. And by the end of it, if they qualify, it'll funnel them to my Calendly. And if they don't qualify, it just basically says like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Unfortunately, right now, cash damming is not the best fit for you.
And then from that point, are they just like a dead lead, or do you try to chat with them about other things you could do that are outside the realm of cash damming?
It'll add it to my database automatically just from them putting their email in. So I'll at least have them in my database, but I'll have some sort of like positive message at the end, maybe like a video saying like, hey, cash damming isn't right for you, but if you're coming up for renewal or you need to tap into equity, if you need to consolidate debt, like just kind of like list out the different things that I can help them with, maybe introduce something like that instead of just saying, hey, thanks, goodbye.
Yeah, because that sounded kind of depressing. Like if I was on the client receiving end of that and it's like, oh, this isn't a fit for you. It's like you went for a job and you got just a rejection letter. Obviously, not every employer is going to give you like, hey, you could work on these couple of things. But if you were like, hey, cash damming is not the best solution, but based on your profile, I've identified a few things that we could either work on or work towards. Are you interested in taking that next step? Number one, you're going to have a way better client like outlook of the business. Plus, you're probably going to end up closing more files because you're going to start with like a solutions-based mindset past the frame of cash damming into what else is possible there.
Like ideal world, 100%. I have like these different angles to push them towards like the different strategies that I'm utilizing. But to start off, maybe it's just something super simple that I can plug in right away. And then I can get the type form done. And from there, I'll have like some sort of like, I would love to have like an evergreen video that is high level of the different strategies to make your mortgage either the interest tax deductible or for you to use a strategy like the Manulife one to pay off your mortgage in half the amount of time. Like I want to like introduce these concepts into one video, and that can be like the thing that they get linked to. And that way it's continuing the relationship with that person. And it's not that hard, like, hey, goodbye. And that's key for social media as well, because you want some raving fans that are going to continue to watch your content and interact with the different stuff you put out there.
Yeah, what would be cool is if we built like a X part YouTube series on like advanced mortgage strategies, and then we could link them. Hey, watch this, see if any of these appeal to you, and we have your whole profile built out. We can run the scenario if any of this is of interest to you. I think that would be really sticky. Also, you could break that up and get a ton of content out of it. So it's multi-purpose for you. It's good for building out, the ROI on your AdWords and all that shit that you're into. So
all this shit that we're talking about is on my vacation list that I made up when I was away. But it's like, I'm very mindful of like, hey, don't just dive into it and start doing it. Like, back to our original statement, like, focus on the one thing that's a pain point. And for me, it's that I need to clear out the people that aren't qualified. Maybe I start with that harsh method right away, and then I can ease into like perfecting it down the line and just converting more people that come into my orbit too.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you just have to clear and like do like a controlled burn of the space in order to restart the way you want to start. And with advanced strategies, I find there's so much coming into your head. It's like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to like separate yourself from it and create the most optimal journey, which ironically, like, by the time we spend like several months on this, the most optimal journey is just going to be the one that's the simplest for us and the client. But unfortunately, you have to go through this whole journey to come back and find that simple one, which then we'll probably give you guys in one 15-minute episode, and you can choose to follow it or not. But yeah, I can totally understand like just wanting to be like, hey, it's not a fit for you. Let's move on. They'll still get the drip emails, and maybe they come back around that way.
Yeah. And to your point, you're going to have a lot of these clients that aren't going to be a good fit, but I'm always looking for a power of the paycheck strategy for someone. I feel like they're way more common than we think. And just looking out for that opportunity, it's like the simplest strategy out of all of them once the client understands how the product works, and it's very effective. So I'm kind of excited to dive a bit deeper on that.
Yeah. And for those of you listening who have no idea what Tom's talking about, he's talking about using the Manulife One account, power of the paycheck strategy. It's super effective. We actually use it a lot now. If someone's like, you know what, I'm just like getting a better rate, or I'm like leaning towards this, I'm talking to someone else, we just run them through the power of the paycheck scenario. And like you said, when it works, it's incredible how effective it is. You would have to almost be an idiot to not take it at that point.
It's such an easy, quick calculation too. Like, you go to the Manulife website, you go to the broker calculator, and you put in the numbers. Like, don't even go into the weeds of like collecting checking, savings account numbers, all of the specific debts that the client has. Just get the rough numbers and present it to them. And it's great. It spits out a number of how much interest you're going to shave off your mortgage and how many years you're going to shave off your mortgage. And the really cool part is, we're now, Kyle, our underwriter, is like, he loves the Manulife One product now. So he's diving deep on it, and any opportunity, that's his filter now. He's looking through any lead we send him for like renewals, refis, anything. He's looking for that.
Yeah, he's like the Terminator now with like this lens on like Manulife One. And it's really funny because like I know about it and I know how it works. We hired him at the same time we were going deep on it. So I never like put all that effort into getting super informed on it. But I've been watching his videos that he sends to clients, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. So I started commenting. I'm like, great video, Kyle. Like, this is really informative. And he's like, are you just fucking like jerking my chain? Like, for the client? I'm like, no, I've actually been like watching your 6-minute recap on the strategy for the client. I think it's amazing. So
I can only think about how many deals in the past, because I always just kind of shoot away renewals. Like, if they just wanted the lowest rate, I'm like, okay, cool. The amount of deals we probably could have had and won over just by looking at the power of the paycheck, I could only imagine. And a lot of brokers.
Hindsight's 2020 on that.
Oh yeah. I'm just happy we know now.
Yeah. For those of you who are struggling on something that you're like, I don't really know what to use as the push or the proof, Manulife One would be a great one to take a look at. So make your push to learn and implement the Manulife One product for a client or several clients. And your proof can be the number of files you convert doing this. I think that's a great one because it's a fantastic tool to have in your toolkit going forward.
I'm going to keep going on this. I can't believe how underutilized the product is. And we were all just so blind to it. And now it's like this hot topic in the mortgage industry, which like it is a trend, but it's for a good reason. And the really cool part is like when you use the calculator and you get to the end, you can print off a PDF report for the client and you can do a Loom overview going through like, here's your Manulife one number, here's all of your savings here. Like it's so cool how no other lender does this and nobody ever talked about it. But I don't know. I obviously love it.
I'll go on a little tangent on this. I was like talking about how amazing it is to Levia, and she just kind of like sat there listening, me going through all the reasons why. And she's like, I had this account at my old house, right? I had one. I loved it. But I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Why did you let
Well,
me
there you
put
go. Yeah.
Why'd you let me put you with a different lender then?
Yeah. And if you want to learn more about this stuff, like we're diving deep on all of these different strategies and we're implementing it into our daily prospectors hour that we do with our agents at Tango. So every day for half-hour training after our first half hour of prospecting, we're talking about this stuff. And it's really cool. We've built this like little mini mastermind within our brokerage. So if you're interested, reach out to us. You know how to get a hold of us. While you're at it, if you haven't written a review, I'm going to do a 2-pronged ask here. Please do it for us.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.